what was it? Omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent. But in the beginning, Polight is shifting away by going to definitions and redefining what he means. So right there, I knew he's full of crap. And on this issue, I will stomp all over him because at least I would be able to give him quotes and quotes and historical references, real lived realities, things he doesn't know about the female and the male. And that's something else. It really is an eye-opener. Does that mean I hate women? No. Does that mean I will never want one? How could it be? I am a man. I'm built. I come from a creationist perspective. It's not good for me to be on my own for so long, digging in books. You must have a mate. Even God saw that Adam was alone, and it was not good, and created from the rib a female. Now, for some people, they space cadet stuff, hokum pokum, hooey. Examine the rib. What is in the rib that is in no other bone in the body? Just do some cursory research. Don't just dismiss it because it don't sound great. They are doing research now. Scientists, paid individuals and private companies know what's going down. And they're doing stem cell research, and it's through stem cell research. A lot of this is like, oh, but they're not telling you. Okay? But Polight did something. And it's one of those things that some of these guys do. And if you go online to watch the debate between Polight and Minister Jap, is the black woman God, you'll see it, Sarnetta. And you'll see Polight here, Jap there, Sarnetta down there in the screen. He mentioned chromosome number 9. And he was, Jap must have said, well, women don't know sweet Fanny Adams, and everything they learn, they get it from a man, which is true. I'm trying to think of a song by Cole Porter. In days of a glimpse of stalking was looked on as something shocking, but heaven knows anything goes. And basically what he's talking about in that, and the Time Machine was on yesterday, and if you watch both Time Machines, I think it's the 60s version and the 90s or 2000 version, you had Rod Taylor playing the guy who goes back in time and forward, and it was it was Guy Pearce plays the newer version. And there is a point obviously in the story, because they had to put it in there, where there's a shop window. And as he's going to the future now, he's looking at the shop window, and there's a mannequin in there, and it's showing where the women's dresses were down here. And as he goes through time, the skirts come up, shorter and shorter and shorter. So in olden days, a glimpse of stocking. So the dress had to be long. You couldn't see that they were wearing those kind of sexy wear, if you will. Heaven knows anything goes. Think about it, right? Now you got people walking around in batty riders, butt naked, with very skimpy. I mean, that's how far we've gone. And with it goes the morality of society. Because a woman needs direction. And you have to go back. You see, some people don't like the Bible. Can't stand the Bible. Can't stand Christianity. Can't stand creationism. They hate it. They want to do what they want to do, but they don't like the results they get. And then they blame that which they rejected. It's a bit like the female. They want to screw anybody they want to screw. Then the screw get pregnant. They kick the guy out of the house. They bring in Tom, Dick, Harry, Roger, Jones, blah, blah. You can fill a whole room of the men they've been fucking by the time that boy reaches 16. And they've all put in some kind of crap in his head and he stabs someone. And then they blame the guy they kicked out. He was never there. You can't blame somebody who was never there for the fact that you brought in all this crap. And that's how he turned out. We have to revisit at the very beginning when you were supposedly strong, but just, you know, got your daddy involved. What do you mean, daddy? The police or whatever it is, because your ego got brushed. And in many cases, that's the situation. Women don't take responsibility very well, and morality very well. That's not. It's about them, right? Does that mean I hate my mum? Does it mean I hate my dad? Does it mean I don't like black women? Does it mean... No, it doesn't. But if that's what you want to take, you take. But you're either going to learn something today or you're not. It's as simple as that. So, in this dialogue, he does what a lot of these guys do. And it's a mental trick. He goes, oh, because Minister Jap had said... everything a woman has, she learns from a man. He teaches her, blah, 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 which is true, right? Oh, how can that be, he says. Chromosome number 9. Chromosome number 9 is where all thoughts come from, and it only comes from the female, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, it's like he's getting irate. I wouldn't say irate, but he was getting a bit more animated, right? Because he wants to claim this point about chromosome number 9. So I'm like... I'm half sleeping, so I thought, chromosome, never heard of that. Sounds like BS to me. Let me go and have a quick cursory look. You have a look. That's where only existing females, and obviously thinking and cognition, chromosome number 9, only existing females, that's where it starts from. So how could man compute anything into a woman? Because the thought process and computing of anything comes from the female. Chromosome number 9 only resides in the female. You heard what I said. Check the video. Polight said it. And go look and research it yourself. That's all I'm saying. No, go and do it. Don't play. Okay? So I think it was at that point I thought, you know what? I haven't done a video in a while. I had some bad news lately. Let me, just while it's fresh in the mind, didn't even do great research, you know, in terms of, you know, I looked on a couple of sites. I did a Wikipedia and I did another one. I don't even know what they're called, you know what I mean? But, you know, I began to realise, what's he talking about? I mean, we got 46 chromosomes and it's divided, you know, 23, we got doubles, right? 47 if you're Down syndrome, something I learned while I was at college, you know what I mean? So, at no time did this, they are numbered, but I think what he's talking about is hooey. The bottom line is, he's got a good line. He's articulate. Trained by Malachi Z. York. We studied under him anyway. I think Malachi Z. York is in jail serving hundreds of years for having sex with children, I think it is. And he was the head of the Nubian faction. And I didn't know Polight was part of that, but Polight, you know, studied under him. So the African Americans have had a history, Americans had a history of these Svengali-like types who, you know, they're the saviour. And they give a bit of truth and they play on your insecurities. And you donate money and the girls screw them just like the preachers, the pastors come around, get free dinners and screw the wives of husbands and so forth, using the name of Jesus. It's nothing new. It's not religiously based in abuse I will do a video about that type of stuff. But the debate is it's a poor. I mean, they're supposed to be the conscious community, you know, the Pan-Africanists and all that stuff. And some of the debates can be interesting, but they don't seem to understand the basics of having a debate. If it's serious and a serious matter, then, you know, please do treat it so. They don't. So it's pretty disgusting to me in the way, you know, and you know, all right, Jap is not a skilled debater. He's having a debate now, but, you know, you're interrupting when Polight's talking. There's no need to. You know, it may be his first actual debate he's had, but it's tiresome. And as for Sarnetta, he's a rubbish. He's absolutely rubbish. Can't trust that guy. Can't do anything right, in my view. But if he's, you know, he's earning the money and drives a nice car and providing, he's doing better than me. So that's the first thing they're going to say. I got money, bitch. You know what I mean? What you got? I can do this. What can you do? And on that, they've got me. You know what I mean? The point is, either these issues are serious, and either you do want to heal your community, which is fractured and so forth, and led astray, or you don't. And you have to understand what is good and what is not. You eat the fish and spit out the bone. If white people come up with a strategy about how to debate, you don't say, oh, that's just white man speaking, or white man talking, or, you know, book learning is white people. Who would do that? Where does that get you? Knowledge is knowledge. If you're supposed to be the first and the greatest, and you built this and built that, why would you reject that which has been taken from you and revisit? And you're going to say, oh, no, I'm not dealing with that. So it was very bad. Because I'm doing this debate because I did a debate with Tariq Nasheed versus Jared Taylor. And a white guy hosted it. And that was a debate. Even though the moderator was, you know, kind of, you know, slipping and sliding around, the structure was there. So it was easy to get to see Tariq Nasheed make a fool of himself because he's got verbal diarrhea and doesn't understand. Shut up. You just talk, and you don't realise when you're an idiot. A 6'5" idiot. Embarrassment. But here, they can't even get the structure right. They can't even obey the rules of a debate. And that was really what really got me to say, have the debate. So, as I've said, I don't think this is going to be a long video. I don't really have much more to say, apart from, let me just round up on what I just saw. And it's still frozen, probably about 5 to 10 minutes left, maybe just 5. Was there a winner? I would have to say Jack was a winner. He made better points, I suppose. But it's not really, it's one of those ones where, you know, you feel kind of a bit dirty. You know what I mean? Because it was rubbish. You kind of can't get those minutes back. But I suppose in everything you can learn something. And I'm speaking on it now. African Americans are very sensitive, and we are being infantilized by the PC left to find offense in everything. And it is no wonder that there are so much people being stabbed, because everybody's like on tenterhooks, and it's social engineers doing it. Places like the Stanford Institute or in America, or the Tavistock Institute over here. Of course, these things they won't speak of because they're conscious and they know everything but won't speak of such things. So everybody's sensitive about everything, so therefore they can't listen long enough to understand. You have to listen to have understanding, and then you can respond. And Jack was talking over, he's hearing hot words, and I'm like, do you not understand the rudiments of a debate? That's his minutes. You say nothing. And I can see what Polight's doing. He knows he's not that skilled, so he's deliberately throwing hot words because he wants him to interrupt. And the reason why he wants him to interrupt, it sucks up the time that they've got to have a debate, and he breaks him down, not because he's got a better argument, but because this guy is interrupting and you go wandering all over the place. And I think that's what Polight wants. And that's the first time I've seen Polight, me, weak, and he will always be weak on that concept of the black female is God. Because when you question it on it, when he was questioned, or when Jap went to, what do you mean by God? He came up with his dictionary definitions. Now, number one, you're supposed to be so conscious. But when you go to Merriam-Webster, that's not a black source. That's white people. And when you go to any other ones that you cited, they were all white people. But you're supposed to be independent of and so forth, and a white man is this, the best of it. It's really silly. Do you know what I mean? And I think these guys are stupid. 1 minute they're falling out, next minute they're back together, you know, Sarnetta and Polight and all of these guys that are up there, and they're playing a game and they're just milking the public. They're bilking the public, and it's unfortunate that it would appear that the world has built themselves up on the backs of Negroes, and they're standing on Africa right now. The continent will not be independent anytime soon. Their last chance was Gaddafi, but that's a different subject. So, in closing, as I said, it's a short debate on video. I'm going to post this if it's recorded and it sounds okay. And it was, is the black woman God? Polight versus Bro Upgrade. It's Brother Jap. No wonder why I wrote the wrong name down. Brother Jap. Minister Jap, Minister Jap, who has his own podcast or YouTube, and he's pretty much one of those guys who talks about the kind of finagling that women do. I wouldn't say he was MGTOW, but there's a reason why there is MGTOW, and it's this uber feminism that is destructive to society, and a lot of people are kicking back on it. And whilst a lot of us are realizing it's not working, I did the research. I really did. So I understand from the beginning when women started to write their views down. Most people don't do that. Feminists don't do that. And I actually have gone through, I've scanned Reddit, but I got crucial data from Charles Darwin on the origin of the species by natural selection or the preservation of favoured races in the struggle for life. That's the title of the book. But the real dynamite is in his posthumous book, and that is Descent of Man. I think he was squeaky bum time for him and didn't want to release it while he was alive because of what he said in it, which makes me laugh when you've got these lecturers, females, bullying the shit out of you in university, and they're so Darwinian. They're so pro-Darwin, but Darwin... Darwin's a funny guy. Well, not funny, haha, but he's quite categoric. The female is not superior to the man. She's inferior to the male. And I can disagree with him with a lot of things. And there's a lot of things that people attribute to Darwin that Darwin didn't say. Or that's not what he supports. But I ain't going to let that cat out of the bag. I'll let the idiots like Dawkins run around. And other people. I don't have a big platform, and I know from university and from work, you can have the greatest ideas and the greatest insights. They will sooner sack you, they will sooner kick you out, and because you're breaking ground. But your ideas, and then they're off there talking it up like they invented it and they knew it first, and you know. University is a double-edged sword, and nowadays when you're at university, you write an essay, it goes in and turn it in. It's a computerized system. So therefore, when you write your essay and you put it on the computer, anybody's got access to that from any country. Well, that's a very interesting insight. They're listening to how you think, the new people, you know, how you think, taking your ideas. Then the think tanks get to see what this new essay is, the groundbreaking work, and they put policies in to subvert any of that materializing and so forth. And they get their agents to speak against it in the field on these community radio stations and so forth. It's a difficult world in which we live. you know. But as it stands, I am a creationist and I believe in God. He may not believe in me for some of the things I've done, and he may have not little faith, I don't know. And you know, I've had some tough. I'll do another video, and I'll get into that a little bit. But anyway, that's my view on the debate between Polight, Brother Polight, and Minister Jap. So with that, I bid you good night.